Hi everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Juan. I am just one reader and I am here very excited with my June TBR. Now, something really important that I have learned this year, 2018, as a person, but of course as a reader, is how to curate, how to select my TBR. I really think it is absolutely paramount and essential to be very good at curating your TBR and choosing the books for your monthly TBR, taking into consideration your real characteristics as a person, as a reader, and also your lifestyle. This year, there have been some months, for example, last month I had a very ambitious TBR. Also in April, I've had a lot of really ambitious TBRs this year, and my lifestyle is just kind of hectic right now. So I've been kind of frustrated sometimes because I haven't had the time or the energy level available to really read all these reading projects that I've been wanting to read. So I've decided to really keep things real and take myself and my real lifestyle into consideration, and that's why I have, for the month of June, a very restrained, tame, and modest and realistic TBR. I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books planned for June, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually not, because they are all pretty friendly, pretty accessible texts. Some of them are short story collections, some of them are short novels, so I'm feeling pretty okay with this. So without any further ado, this is my TBR for the month of June. The first book that I want to show you that I want to start reading in the month of June is this big anthology or collection of works by P.G. Wodehouse. Now, P.G. Wodehouse is this kind of iconic comedic British figure that I've always wanted to read. I've never really read his stuff, but I have heard great things about him. And I usually love this kind of British humor and comedy style, and it just sounds like something that I am going to absolutely enjoy. So I have this collection, which is entitled A Bounty of Blandings, and it includes, I think, 4 novels. So in June, I will read the first of the novels in this collection, which is entitled Blandings Castle. Another short novel that I would really like to try is this one, The Other by Thomas Tryon. This is horror or thriller or something very weird. Just the cover alone is like easily haunting and kind of traumatizing. So I am really compelled by the like weird vibe that this book gives off. To be honest, I don't really remember how or why or where or when I got this book. I just remember that I picked it up probably, I think, upon a bookseller's recommendation because I was looking for good literary strange horror that is not like your typical Daphne du Maurier or, you know, Stephen King. No, I wanted something different, and this was recommended to me. So it is a short and apparently very creepy and eerie kind of book, so of course I want to read that. And talking about Daphne du Maurier herself, the queen of all things gothic and creepy and deliciously well written, I really need to start reading The Birds. Hopefully I will be able to read the entire collection in 1 month. It's actually a very slim volume. It's kind of a short story collection. I just adore Daphne du Maurier's writing style and her characters and her atmospheres. Just the atmospheric value in her work is so invaluable, so great. I have previously read and enjoyed Rebecca, which I thought was a really superb novel, although I did find some flaws and I had my quibbles with it. And also My Cousin Rachel, which is, in my humble opinion, 1,000 times superior and much better than Rebecca. My Cousin Rachel was a book that really blew me away, and yeah, it just made me a complete fan of du Maurier. So now I want to read The Birds. I wanted to read this for ages, but it was completely impossible to get a copy of it here in Mexico City. But one of my best friends just recently went to London and she got me this copy, and she was a little bit reluctant to buy it for me because this copy actually is kind of damaged. It has this kind of thing here, and it's a little bit torn in parts, like right here in the corner. Like, it's not in perfect condition, but of course I didn't mind. I don't care about those minor construction details anymore. I just want to do Maurier. Another short story collection that I want to start reading is Pastoralia by George Saunders. I wanted to read this because I recently read one of the stories from here, which is Sea Oak. And that's a story that I actually read because Adrian and Dalton from the channel Stripped Cover Lit read it and made a review on it. And of course, if Adrian and Dalton read a short story by George Saunders, whom I adore, and post a review on it, you bet your ass I am going to read the shit out of that story. And that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. I read the shit out of that story. I made my own analysis in my head. I kind of wrote some thoughts down, and then I watched the review, and of course it was like being in heaven, illuminated by the gods. So yeah, I figured if I already started this collection, why not finish it? Now, I wanted to have some comic relief. I haven't really read anything seriously funny in a long time. I don't think I've actually read anything really funny this year, like nonfiction comedy this year. So I wanted to read this, Miranda Hart's book, Peggy and Me. I have a very special place in my heart dedicated entirely and exclusively just for Miranda Hart. I love her. I love her. I know that she's the kind of personality that you either love or you hate. I absolutely worship her. I watch her series Miranda every time that I can get it. It's just, oh, it's exactly my type of humor. I love her. I love her writing. I love her delivery of the jokes, her performances. She's just adorable, and I have previously read her book, Is It Just Me? And it was delightful. So now I got this, and I already started reading it, honestly, and it is just a blast. Such fun. Another book that I would like to read in June is More Happy Than Not. This is by Adam Silvera, and this is kind of a futuristic dystopian YA novel. I have kind of given up with YA, honestly. It's a genre that I tend to avoid because it usually frustrates me and it doesn't really satisfy me anymore. But I already had this in my shelf. I bought this like 3 or 4 years ago, and I've heard actually pretty good things about this, and it sounds kind of interesting. It's about these institute that can delete your memories, like a little bit of Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting, except that this has a queer LGBTQ thing going on. A booktube darling of a novel that a lot of people have read and raved about is The Tidal Zone. You know what this is about. This is about a man who has a daughter, and the daughter has like some kind of chronic illness, and basically at any given moment or point in time she can pretty much drop dead, and it's kind of this man having to live with that, sort of. I'm not really sure, but I have heard great things from everybody who's read it. And finally, I have something a little bit more literary, and this is the novel Infinite Home by Kathleen Alcott. I got this copy like 3 years ago from the Strand bookstore in New York. This is actually a signed copy, and you can see the signature right there, Kathleen Alcott's signature. So I originally bought this book like 3 years ago in New York because it was recommended by the booksellers at the Strand. And I put it on my shelf and I kind of forgot about it until very recently. I watched Chris from Chris Bookish Cauldron made a review on this. He really liked it. He really sold it to me, and he made me remember that I had this on my shelf, and I have seen a lot of videos on this book lately. Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings also has a review on this book, and yeah, it just sounds like a book that I probably should have read earlier. And those are all the books that I would like to read in the month of June. Please let me know in the comments down below, what are you planning on reading in June and what are you most excited about? Thanks for watching. I am Just One Reader. Some people sit on their butts, got the dream, yeah, but not the guts. That's living for some people, for some humdrum people, I suppose. Well, they can stay and rot, but not rose.